Hello gamers, and welcome to some more preview content for the upcoming WARNO game. It will be released into early access on 20th of January, Saturday. In my Let's Try video I've already showed you the options and also the armory and one battle with the official battle groups. And in this video we are going to look at a deck. So it'll be like a first look at a deck, and the deck is going to be the NATO deck because I live in the Fulda Gap, so we are going to take a look at the defenders first. I also noticed after my last match actually that these command vehicles you don't only get like in the logistics tab, but you also get them in the tank tab, for example, so be mindful of that. So for now, we will now look at all the options available for the 3rd Armoured, and in another video I will create my own deck. So here we go. In the logistics tab we've got 50 activation points like in Steel Division 2. Here we can see who we are, that's our division logo, our emblem, the nationality of the division, and you know, whether it's a NATO or Warsaw Pact. You can give a name here, and combat groups is something like that you can create, that certain units are grouped together. Here we see activation points also like in, for example, Steel Division. And what do we have here? It's kind of sorted, and we can also sort it here. We can filter by role. We've got supply and command vehicles, and it is pretty cool that everything else is actually grayed out, so that helps, I think. So let's say we look at the command vehicles first. I do not know if we can actually hide the entire UI. So there we go. First unit, the M151 MUT. If you're from Germany, you might know the steel buddies, and they bought some of them, and together with some Poles they kind of rebuilt them. So the MUT, cool Jeep. Here we can see it's a command unit of mediocre quality. I think this is helpful in particular for new players. The armor, less than 1, so basically none. Can do some damage, maybe the driver can shoot or something. Normal optics, which means no bonus. No stealth, or no bonus to stealth. Because bad is like no bonus, and from there it only gets better. And there's a speed off-road and on-road, a fuel consumption, or that's the fuel tank, and that's how you know how many kilometers you can actually drive with that prior to refueling. In comparison to that, we do have the... Okay, look at that. How can we compare? I think we need to tick it here, and then we can compare. That is pretty cool. So you only do the comparison if you really want to. I like that. Then we've got the M577 CPC. Also with the emblem of the division here. It's got markings everywhere. This is, I think that's the soldiers' backpacks. Yeah, and this is possibly, like, you know, for camouflage, like camouflage net. Max damage again 10. Optics is mediocre as opposed to normal. So mediocre means it's has less worse optics. 1 spot units as well. Stealth is bad as well. Speed, it is obviously slower, and has more fuel but less autonomy. And then we've got the UH-60A helicopter, and I think this is quite an interesting option because if you want to rush to a certain point or to a certain sector, United States Army, then you can do it with a helicopter best. It's got armament as well with machine guns, shooting at ground targets, can dish out some damage. Possibly it's one on each side. Yeah. Really nice model. Accuracy and so on. Max damage 10. Oh no, this is actually the capability. It's good that there are tooltips because that's what the unit is capable of withstanding. So it's actually not dishing out any damage whatsoever. It is actually indicating how much damage it can take. This is a stat that was hidden, or it's a hidden stat in Steel Division 2. Autonomy 35 km, you can fly back and forth, so if you're about to lose a point, a sector, you can just fly back. So I guess this is pretty good. I'm not a Wargame Red Dragon pro, so I do my best to give you all the information that you might be interested in. Let's look at the support vehicles. The supply. M35, 54 km off-road, 108 km on-road. Let's compare it with the obvious one, and that's the HEMTT or HEMT or something, which is actually much faster off-road. It has more supplies as well. It also costs more than twice as much, but you get more supply and more speed. Also looks pretty cool. They've driven through some mud already. What does it say here? Flammable. Pretty cool. And then there's this one, the M11-3A2. Mediocre optics, speed is not really great on road, obviously, because it got tracks. 800 supply, so pretty much like the M113A2 on. But the M35 has the better road speed. Then there's the helicopter. That can be really cool, I think, to supply 2000 supplies. That's quite a bit. Super fast in comparison, obviously, to supply units either fire at the front or if you need to, for your artillery maybe, and then fly away again. But as you can see, no armament whatsoever, even though I think this looks like a machine gun. Yeah, it's a UH-60A, same model, and they didn't make a difference here with the regards to the machine guns. Okay, next up, the infantry tab. We've got 4 different types of infantry, plus the command units. Let's take a look at the command units first. A command unit, is there a tooltip for that? Yeah. Unit specialized in capturing or contesting enemy controlled areas. So you can maybe hide them in a tree or in a house or something. The vehicles also cost points. Can we see how many? Yeah, M35 for example is 15 points. You could bring them in this one, which can also fight, but it all costs points, You can sell it again though, or use it for some recon, or maybe load your troops again even. And engineer leaders, they do have an assault rifle, 4 of them, and that's about it. As you can see, there's information, motion, and close range weapon. This weapon can be used in close combat situations, and here it says aiming and shooting on the move. The aiming can be done while moving. If you have ever done that, it's not the easiest task. So you need to have good training. Accuracy 50% indicates the ammunition's chance to hit when stationary. The closer a unit gets from a target or to a target, the higher the chance to hit. This is very interesting. So it scales by distance. In SD2, this is for sure the case with artillery. It's a hidden stat, the scaling. Not sure about infantry though, but here it changes, which makes sense. Good stealth, normal optics. And here the plus comes presumably from the veterancy maybe. And they have to come up-vetted. Now the mechanized rifle squad here, it's a command unit as well. Can I zoom out more? No, I think I can't. And they have assault rifles, 1 machine gun, medium machine gun. And here it says aiming while stationary. Kind of makes sense. It's this dude here. And an anti-tank rocket launcher. Oh, nice, really nice. As you can see, the range here is the same for the M60 as for the M16. And you can pause the video if you want to see some of the detailed stats. But let's take a look at the transport options here as well. It can also come in this transport tank. Then we've got more roles. We do have infantry squad, which means around 10 soldiers, multi-role, long-range combat, short-range combat, and with weapons against armor if necessary. And then we've got the infantry half squad, around 5 soldiers, multi-role, long-range combat, short-range combat, and with weapons against armor if necessary. The same goes for the assault squad, infantry squad, around 10 soldiers, specialized in close-range combat and in urban building environment, and half squad. So let's take a look at the normal infantry squad first. And you can bring apparently all of them, engineer, dragon, arrow rifles and mag rifles. Okay, no, it's a different setup as well. It's not just halved. So here we go. We do have the engineers, a dragon. They come with assault rifles and the dragon 2. Ground-to-ground missile. You need to be stationary. The missile is guided and operated manually. The missile after launch requires the constant intervention and control input of the operator, and it's high explosive anti-tank. It's 1.6 kilometers range roughly. Pretty decent accuracy, I think, but it's only a mediocre unit. Interesting. This one will be better. So transport vehicles, the M35, or also the troop transport here. You can change the veterancy, you can't bring them unvetted. They need to be trained at least. And here you can see the veterans, influence of the veterancy curves. It goes from 6 to 4 to 2. But for example, accuracy here is now 75% as opposed to 62, as opposed to 50 only if they are only trained. It's also interesting that you've got kind of poor, trained, veteran and elite. I think that they cannot be up-vetted by command units, or can they? No upvetting by leader units apparently, like in Steel Division 2. You can also filter by value here. Let's say we only want excellent units, for example. If you want to build a quality, high quality division only, or maybe a cheap mass division, you can use those filters, which I think is pretty cool. You can also filter by name. Let's go for rifles. Yeah, really cool. So then we've got the arrow rifles with the M16. They also have a medium machine gun and anti-tank rockets. Same anti-tank rockets? No, different anti-tank rockets with worse accuracy, much worse range. But still they are considered good, and I presume this is mainly because of the medium machine gun. So it'll be much better against other infantry, but possibly worse against tanks. Are they 10 guys because they've got 10 health? Let's check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well then, let's take a look at the mech rifles. What's the veterancy curve here? It's 9, 6, 3. So always kind of 3 less, and here it's also 9, 6, 3. The mech rifles can come in the same vehicles. Yeah, okay. They also have the M16A2 and a light support weapon in the M249. That's the difference. Oh, I see, and that's what makes them superior to the arrow rifles. It's one more guy, and they've got the better AT missile, where it's actually a missile as opposed to a anti-tank rocket launcher. Yeah, and their machine gun dishes out more damage as well. So this is kind of like the backbone infantry unit, and you get 2 cards of these, 1 card of these, and 3 cards of the engineers. Now let's take a look at the half squads. We do have military police for very cheap. Poor though. They do have a medium machine gun and normal M16s. This place is unit name. Yeah, they only cost 20 points. You can bring them as veterans or elite, and you have to bring them in the mud. I think it's actually not too bad if you just want to cover some ground or something. Then there's the military police as well. And they actually carry anti-tank rockets, which is cool. They don't. But they don't have a machine gun. Accuracy with 50% is actually very decent. Well, it's 50% plus 10. Okay, the plus 10 is actually already included here. So usually it would be 40 if they were just trained. Strength is obviously only 5. Then there's a fire team. Also with anti-tank rockets, more expensive than the military police. The penetration value is important when it comes to the armor of the vehicles, obviously. So you need to have a higher value, I think, in order to penetrate. Indicates an ammunition's maximum armor piercing AP value at close range. The higher the AP value in contrast with the target unit's armor, the greater the chance to penetrate it, as well as any suppression damage inflicted. The penetration values of APs at close range. The further away a target is, the lower the penetration will be. armor-piercing rounds are useless against infantry units. So this is also a really cool indication. This is like a hidden information in Steel Division 2, but you know, you don't know exactly, you know, if you're 100 meters away what changes and stuff. As you also can see, the prices are higher here, at least compared to Steel Division 2. Also, your income is higher, and that actually allows for better fine-tuning, I think, if you make balancing changes. Okay, then we've got, yeah, the two fire teams. They are mediocre, one law, one with one dragon. You get 3 cards. The difference being, you know, the type of anti-tank rocket. That's not the only difference, though. The one with the Dragon 2 also has one more guy, or one more strength, I should say, and you can bring them trained. But for example, as veterans, you get 6 of them with 50% accuracy for the M16. Also 50% accuracy, also 6. So I actually think that the Dragon one is the better choice, right? Is there any point why you should take this over the other one? I don't think so. Now in the comparison, you only see the trained version. You don't see the vetted versions. Interesting, they have to come in the Bradley. These guys as well, and they possibly in the mud, yes. Now can we see the vehicle? The details of the vehicle? I do not see where we could see that. In Steel Division I obviously would know, but I don't think we can access the details of the vehicle right now at this point. No. Alright then. Next up, engineers. Typical CQC unit. In Steel Division 2, that's the same. And they've got satchel charges, demolition charges, 5 ammunition. Range is only 70 meters, so it's really for city or forest fights. Dishes out quite some damage. But this is only like 0.72, so you can imagine this won't really kill an infantry squad, so I don't think it's like really a game changer. But I don't know. Yeah, I need to test that. Availability. Veterancy curve is 9, 6, and 3. And again, you can bring them in the troop transport here or in the truck. In the armored personnel carrier. That's what armored personnel carrier. That's what it's called. APC. Okay. Then there's the half squad. It's engineers flash. They come in the truck or in the APCR. APC. They've got an incendiary rocket launcher, which is pretty cool. Lots of damage. Strength is 5. Rather cheap unit, but I think it can be very effective. Range is really good as well, so for city fights I think ideal. Even better than this one in CQC. Pricing is, both are considered good quality units. Yeah. Okay. Then let's move on to the artillery. So we've got 3 types of artillery. Mortar artillery. Mortars are the most responsive indirect fire weapons. While they are capable of engaging targets quickly, mortars do not have a great range and quickly become inaccurate. Yeah, a mortar You know, whether it's artillery or mortar, it depends on the ballistic curve. So that would be a mortar, and that would be artillery somehow. Here we've got howitzer gun. Artillery howitzer takes time to prepare and fire, but it can shoot at a very high distance while remaining perfectly accurate. Good. And then multiple rocket launcher. So that's the Nebelwerfer of WARNO. Rocket artillery system with low accuracy, but able to saturate a large target area with a massive volume of firepower. So we've got one mortar option, 3 cards. Veterancy curve is like 6, 4, 2. It's got a heavy machine gun that you can see here as well, and the mortar is currently folded or put in. And the range is 1,415 meters for the heavy machine gun and 7,775 meters for the mortar. The unit needs to be stationary. 1.6 damage, not bad. Rate of fire 18 with some veterancy, that's pretty cool, I think. Lots of mortars in SD2, I think are 17 rate of fire, not quite sure by heart. Speed 63 kilometers per hour, a bit more on the road. Autonomy 7 kilometers, 10 health. The howitzer option looks really nice as well. They want to roll out already. Cobra. Lots of little details on the models. I really like that you see even suitcases on the streets. The price obviously is difference is quite steep. 119 for the card. Let's take a look at the availability first. 3 or 2. So availability is quite the difference as well. And if you make it a veteran unit, actually the howitzer doesn't change at all. So apparently it has like 100% accuracy, like suggested here. Perfectly accurate. Needs to be stationary, high explosives. There you see the ballistic curve, indirect fire, motion. It can be shot on motion. Significant damage 2.32. Nice suppression here, I think. Let's compare it to the mortar. You can see that all the values here are significantly better. Obviously it's more expensive. Now the multiple rocket MLRS, multiple rocket launchers. There are 2 options. What will be the difference? Okay, we've got the M270 MLRS cluster. This will open up when you shoot. Availability is 3 or 2. There are no phases here in WARNO, unlike in Steel Division. So I'm sorry that I can't really compare it with Red Dragon right now. I come with a Steel Division 2 in mind. So the rocket needs to be stationary, high explosive and anti-tank. This is pretty cool. Is this also high explosive anti-tank? No, it's just high explosives. So can we see the difference? Yes, we can. Look at the logo. It makes quite the difference here. So this one is just like an explosion on the ground. So this is also anti-tank and cluster. So basically like cluster bomber in Steel Division 2. Penetration value is 6, whereas this one has no penetration value. The range is insane. Not much damage though. Accuracy probably very accurate. 4 kilometers autonomy. That's like you're behind the lines artillery. You've got 2 cards, and then you've got 2 cards of this one, and this one doesn't say cluster. Availability again is 3 or 2. Difference being that this one is the anti-personnel variant, so not the cluster variant. Hence, you would use that against infantry, mainly, or light vehicles. Okay, then let's hop on to the tank tab of the 3rd Armored Division. Here we do have infantry fighting vehicles, armored vehicles designed to carry infantry into battle and provide direct fire support. The IFV usually carries effective weapons against infantry and other armored vehicles. Like I think the German Puma, for example. Main battle tank. The tank is a heavily multi-role armored vehicle effective against any type of ground vehicle as well as infantry. Let's take a look from mediocre to high quality. So we've got the M72-8 CEV main battle tank. Yeah, he can maybe prepare an airstrip with that. Pretty cool. And you know, it's like a pioneer tank. It does have an anti-infantry gun, high explosive here, kinetic energy penetrator, a type of ammunition designed to punch through armor with a high density dart-like projectile. It does not contain any explosive charge and purely uses its kinetic energy to penetrate. But there's no penetration value, so I'm a bit confused. So if you know what that actually means, let me know. Lots of damage. Heavy machine gun and medium machine gun. And all of them can shoot on the move. Yeah, but that's a chance to hit when stationary. I don't know the chance to hit while moving. 4 kilometers autonomy. Bad stealth, mediocre optics, so you want to support it. Veterancy curve is 6, 4, 2. Front armor is pretty good. Side and rear and top armor is pretty poor. M901 ITV. Availability is 963. Costs 120 points. And it's got the ITO SACLOS ground-to-ground missile with 20 penetration. So this is like your Marder, I'd say, from a Steel Division 2 perspective. 90 accuracy with highest veterancy, that's a lot. Rather fast, I think, 63 kilometers and 79. How fast is this? Yeah, this is slower. You need to be stationary. Yeah, and then again the image here is for AT capabilities. Then we've got the M901A1 ITV, also with a logo here, really nice. And okay, what's the range actually? Range here is the same. This one has a better missile, so it's got better penetration. Other than that, it's the same vehicle, I think. So you pay 50 points for 5 more penetration. Now here we do have a tank with some decent front armor, 17, but side armor 7, rear 4 and top 3. Penetration value is 19, so it could kill its brethren. It's also a command unit. Damage output here is decent, accuracy is rather high. Speed again up to 79 on the road. Is it the same here? Yes. This seems to be like a constant factor as the speed. They can only come as veterans. Yeah, that's your command battle tank. Then we've got the same tank, but without the command unit capabilities, and it's actually exactly the same tank otherwise, if I see that correctly, and the backbone of the 3rd Armored Division. Availability is 6, 4 and 2. Finally, most expensive tank that is not a command unit. 20 front armor, still 8 side armor, but as you can see, this shows how vulnerable tanks are if they get, you know, flanked. Let's just quickly take a look at the infantry. Let's see 20 and 8, for example. Here we go. So this would be 18. So front, you could maybe get lucky with some of the tanks, but side you will go through for sure. Flanking with infantry will be ever so important, I think. So yeah, good stats. Let's compare it with the normal Abrams. Our availability curve is 3, 2, 1 as opposed to 6, 4, 2. Yeah, look, the coloring is a bit different, and the Hubertus, it doesn't say here. What are the other differences? Yeah, HA apparently stands for heavy armor, and that's what it's got. It's got better armor. That's about it for quite an enormous amount of points, actually. Okay, let's hop on to the Recon tab. The eyes and ears of your battle group. Recon units have excellent optics and stealth abilities. This allows them to scout the battlefield and spot enemy targets. Reconnaissance units can usually be placed further away in the deployment phase. You can see that in my Let's Try video. There's like a forward deployment you can do. This category groups all ground reconnaissance units. They can be two-man teams, small squads, unarmed fast vehicles, or dedicated recon vehicles featuring advanced surveillance equipment. At times, existing vehicles are repurposed for a reconnaissance role. They feature better optics than their regular counterpart unit. And there will be air reconnaissance as well, I think. So, okay, air reconnaissance is here as well. Why does it say it's ground reconnaissance unit? It's also air reconnaissance units. There's no air reconnaissance in here. It's in here. So, first off, we've got the scouts. Experienced, trained, veteran or elite. Availability drops from 9 to 6 to 3. You can bring them in transports or on foot. Obviously this all costs points, but you want to get them into position. You can also sell your transports if you don't want the transports. And you know, in Germany we say, in the German army, the foot bus always goes, kind of. So you can always take the foot bus, basically. So we've got a medium machine gun for stationary shooting, and then the assault rifle for these 3 guys. 4 strength, very good optics, exceptional stealth, which is a 2.5 multiplier. With the optics, it's 1.7 is very good. It will be interesting to see if there are exceptional optics as well. Rather cheapish unit, it's definitely the cheapest Recon unit here. I also don't know if, yeah, the transport units possibly, I think unlike in, okay, no, vehicle or platoon, here we can actually see the vehicle, but we can't see the fighting capabilities, sorry, of the vehicle platoon. If you now select that, no, I can't see the vehicle. Alright, so we do have the M11 M113A3 ACAF. Availability is 963. What are its features? Mediocre stealth only, good optics only, in comparison, similar speed than all the other vehicles. It's like a Leo or something, or Panther. A Panther, I think, 24. Now it's quite versatile. It's got an anti-tank rocket launcher with at least, well, it's got 13 penetration, so maybe you can get a side shot out of a forest, for example. It's got a heavy machine gun and a medium machine gun, but it's considered poor. The better version is the M150 with a heavy machine gun and a joystick AT missile. Is it AT? Wait 1 second. So this, for example, is a high explosive and high explosive anti-tank. It can do both. And this one is just against tanks. Manual guidance. Needs to be controlled. Range is 2650. So better range than with the anti-tank rocket launcher. Same damage, same suppression, better penetration. I wonder why this is red and this is blue. Not sure. Let me know in the comments if you do know. Yeah, heavy machine gun as well. Good accuracy 75 as opposed to Amiga, for example, 40 here. Availability curve is 6, 4 and 2, and you get 1 card. Then you've got your scout helicopter. It's armed with a minigun, as you can see here, with decent range, decent-ish accuracy, high rate of fire, bad stealth, very good optics. Not super fast, slower than the other helicopter. Now let's take at this helicopter first and look at that. It's got a different, they all have different logos here. I wonder why. So this one has the same as the Scouts and the Bradley. But why is that? Very good, 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 very good, very good. And well, this one is exceptional. I think this refers to the quality of the optics. It's cool that you can actually see it right here. So the best one is this one. Let's take a look. It's a bit faster than the other helicopter. It's got the Hellfire rockets. How much ammunition is that here? Yeah, 4. No, that's the caliber or the type of ammunition. 26 kilometers autonomy. Very high armor penetration, so that's a really good scout unit. But obviously it's quite expensive as well. Availability, only veteran and elite 2 or 1, and you only get 1 card, so make good use of it. Then we've got the Bradley, and I think this is regarded currently as a very good unit because you can forward deploy it, and it's got a bang, so this is a high explosive against ground units, you know, with decent suppression and everything. And then you've got the ground-to-ground missile against tanks with 25 penetration, which is like insanely good. Accuracy is also very good. It can spot and shoot. I think this is pretty cool. Yeah. So I think that's about it for the Recon. Availability curve maybe 6, 4, 2. And actually you've got one cheap activation point, 2 2 points and 1 3 point. In the tank tab you've got lots of activation points, Artillery, okay-ish. Infantry, yeah, you can't bring that much infantry. You've got more options and cards than you can bring. And yeah, similar for logistics. But the thing is, this also gives you options. You want lots of small, cheap infantry to maybe accompany your tanks, or do you want to go for more high quality, beefier squads? Let's go to the AA. Air defense. Units. Okay, where is this actually? Okay, that's for helicopters and airplanes, okay. And this one? SEAD, suppression of enemy air defense. Anti-radar warfare, cool. We don't have that, I think. Or do we? No. No, we do actually. In the air tab. That's cool. Alright then. Stinger. They can come in the mud only. Experience curve, veterancy curve is 12, 8, 4. It's a 2-man squad, both with glasses. I think they are twins. And one with an assault rifle, the other one with a surface-to-air missile. I think this can be a really cool unit to put into towns. And, you know, surrounded by other infantry. So it's kind of protected, and if something comes, you just shoot. With a 2.295 kilometer range against maximum range against helicopters, and a bit less against airplanes. 5 damage. So let's, for example, take a look at the Recon helicopter. So this Recon helicopter, for example, has 5 health. This one has 5 as well, which basically means that one hit of these guys can take them out. Then we've got the Chaparral. Point activation slots wise, we've got 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Veterancy curve here is 6, 4. Surface-to-air missile. Guided fire and forget. Can take out helicopters as 2.8 kilometers and aircraft at nearly 2.5 kilometers range. 6 damage. Should that be enough against airplanes? Let's take a quick look. No, it's not. So you would need to get 2 hits. So you possibly best bring 2 at a time, or mix it up with another AA unit. Then we've got the PVATs, air defense quality mediocre, and they have a guidance radar. The weapon uses a radar for aiming and fire control. They've got a Vulcan cannon. Ground target. They can shoot at ground targets in 2.8 kilometers and 2.475 kilometers. So maybe you can pair them. So I've got 2 different types of AA fire. 1 damage if you hit. This might be a point where actually it makes sense to group them, because it doesn't really make that much sense to bring just one of these units. If you bring this unit with 10 health, and then you bring, let's say, an Apache helicopter, well, that hits you 4 times and then you're gone. Oh no, 10 times. But rate of fire is possibly very high. Alright then. That's the Chaparral, and then the PVAT was the Gatling gun, basically. All don't have good stealth, so you might actually always want a foot unit accompanying them, scout unit. Then we've got another helicopter here with an infrared rocket, surface to air, fire and forget, aiming and shooting on the move. So you can use that as a good defense and rush it in when airplanes come, then fly back. 21 kilometers autonomy. Veterancy curve is 2 and 1. The price point ain't that high, but you only get like 2 or 1 units on the card, and here you get like much more. Alright then. Let's hop to the helicopters. So first off, we've got different types, support and anti-tank. Let's go for support helicopters first. They are obviously quite a bit cheaper. They do have air-to-ground missiles and can fight against tanks as well. I'm a bit surprised there's no penetration value here, but it's high explosive against tanks as well. Availability curve is 2 and then 1. Accuracy ain't that high, it's quite fast actually. And this is a support. Includes any unit that is not specialized in a specific type of combat. The Hydra here. Not armored at all actually, those helicopters. Now this looks pretty cool. They do have an autocannon for ground targets and penetration as well. Kinetic penetration. And air-to-ground rockets and more air-to-ground rockets. 2 sets of Hydra rockets here. 38 ammunition. I think that should be the ammunition. Range is a bit more than 2 kilometers. Decent damage. And this will serve an mainly an anti-tank roles or light vehicles maybe. Rather. And then we've got the anti-tank helicopters, starting with the cheap Tow Cobra. Oh, I didn't take a look at the availability, I think. Just 1 second. It's 1. You can bring 1 of them. Tow Cobra has a nice markings here. United States Army. Also 1 Hydra, but also 1 Tow. 20 penetration, really good AT capabilities. This is also good for me to familiarize myself with all the units a little bit. Availability is 4, 3, 1. It's quite a jump. You get 2 cards and then 4 cards of the Apache. What's the difference here, to be honest? We'll see. You get the Hellfire and the Hydra. So kind of, I think the helicopter itself is the same. The armament is the difference. And with the more expensive version you get the much better penetration. I'm not sure if it's worth it though, because you can ideally flank the opponent, but the accuracy is also much better. But you only get 1 of them. And what's the difference here? This one has no Hydra. It's got the Hellfire as well. Why is it so expensive? Same speed. Let's take a look. Why is it so expensive? Is it the availability? No. It's got the same name. Yeah, I think I see why. Okay, because here the weapon is here once, but in fact it's here actually 4 times. So you can shoot 16 of these rockets, dishing out up to 16 damage with an accuracy of 87%, pretty much killing any tank. This got semi-active radar guidance even. So better don't move, actually, with this one. And that makes it more expensive. And then you actually need to fly back and resupply, I think. This is like a very heavy hitter. Finally, we get to the air tab. Aircraft provide aerial cover and support for your ground forces. Some are dedicated to one specific type of mission, while others are multi-role. Fighters and interceptors aim to deny enemy helicopters and planes access to the battlefield. Attack and close air support CAS aircraft are used to strike and destroy enemy land units. SEAD, suppression of enemy air defense. Planes are designed to neutralize and take out enemy air defense systems. Many aircraft are multi-role, allowing them to perform a variety of missions in a balanced way. So there's the Weasel, nice. Okay, let's take a look. Let's start with the Phantom. Support role, excellent quality. It's also one of the cheap units. All of them are actually excellent. ECM is like, I think, the electronic countermeasures. You get the Vulcan, an unguided bomb, and an air-to-air missile. Support in this case means, yeah, not specialized. Exceptional agility and ability to turn quickly. That's different in Steel Division. In Steel Division 2, agility is kind of like automatically dodge enemy fire, but doesn't affect how quickly a plane turns. That's a fixed value as far as I know. These are lots of support, to be honest. Let's take a look at all the support first. There's another Phantom 2, but with cluster bombs. So it is got higher penetration. So that's the one you want to use against tanks. Bear in mind that everything is early access, or this is actually even pre-early access. And then we do have another F4E, but with napalm. So that will be your designated anti-personnel plane. 2 bombs. Also 2 air-to-air missiles. They all have air-to-air missiles. Availability, maybe 4, 3, 1. So quite often they jump to 1 in the end. 4, 3, 1. 4, 3, 1. Okay. Then we've got the 2 cards here in this for these 3 planes. The F111E support plane, 12 unguided bombs. So and this is like comparable to this one. Same bombs, but more of them, but no AA. Also only normal optics. Better ECM, better speed. This is the cluster bomb variant. And this would be with 8 rockets as opposed to 2. So only 9 penetration though, bear in mind. And napalm. 4 as opposed to 2 bombs. Then we get the AT planes. It's actually only 1. But they have a dual role. Why are they? This one is only popping up when I do both. So the A10A. There's an AG variant here with the unguided bomb. Speed is, it's a very, very slow plane in comparison to those. Here you can see the bombs and the Gatling as well, and the air-to-air missiles. Got a Top Gun feeling now. Hopefully the new movie will be good. I don't know. Then we've got the A-10A Thunderbolt 2 with Maverick air-to-ground missiles with a very high penetration. The plane is also obviously rather slow, same values here, same air-to-air missile. So just the armament changes here. To 8 electro-optical missiles. Then we've got the F4E Phantom for staggering 260 points. They've got an air-to-air missile, well, 5 of them. That's an odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then these air-to-air missiles, SEMAC radar. Semi-active radar. Okay, seems to be not as accurate as the others. And what would you use it for? Well, against other airplanes, of course. No, this is actually against air defense. Well, it is an anti-air unit. That's what it means. Okay. Specialized in anti-aircraft combat. There we go. And then we've got the Weasel. How fast is it? It is quite fast. So you can maybe fly with that behind your lines or something. I think it takes some time till units come in. Then we've got the Wild Weasel. Rather fast, really high penetration with the anti-radiation missile. The missile automatically detects and homes in on enemy radar emissions. So this is pretty cool, and it's got some air-to-air missiles as well, just in case, you know. No guns whatsoever. Good optics, exceptional agility. What's the availability actually? It's 4, 3, none. 1, 4, 3, 1. Okay. So this is the Phantom 2. Let's actually take a look if this deck, the AA units are radar operated. That's something you need to know if you play competitively, I think. You want to know, are they radar operated? The Stingers are not. The surface to air one is not, it's fire and forget. This Gatling is radar, has a guidance radar, so this one and this one doesn't. So the pivots are actually the only ones you could sensibly use the Wild Weasel against. Just out of curiosity, and to end this video, let's take a very quick look at the AA units. Are they radar guided? This one is, the Tunguska. This one ain't, and this one is the Book. And I think this is a very important unit. It looks very important at least. Alright then. With that in mind, let us... Can I close the HUD somehow? I don't think so. Let's end this video for the overview of the 3rd Armored Division. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you on the battlefield.